Lee's, Evelyn, very, very strong junglers, and obviously Kassadin, who is responsible for so much work, and Overpow really loves to play as well. So Lucian now being the last ban, and I mentioned earlier, I was thinking, why haven't we seen more Lucian bans?
It doesn't make much sense to me. I think it's the fact of a lot of teams just wanting to have Lucian, hoping that another pick's prioritized and it gets through to them. That's the only way I can really see this. This time banned out though, Shyvana taken away as well, and with Lucian out, looks like KMT want Caitlyn for Celaver.
Understandable. Caitlyn is the other AD carry that's been so hotly contested. In fact, it's pretty much just been Lucian and Caitlyn, and I think we've seen a couple of Jinxes. I think that is actually literally it for at least for today.
Yeah, we've not really seen much variety on that front, have we? We're almost going back to the days of Corki Ezreal and a bit of Graves on the side. We'll see how that all develops as things go along. But for now, Caitlyn, the first pick for KMT here in our final game. What are TCM going to go with now here on the purple side? Expecting that they leave a mid lane until fairly late, if not even last pick from this one. They may, I mean, you can always think AD carry is gone, do we play it safe, get the ADs, but chances are with the likes of Renekton with Mundo in there. Oh, Jwawow's flipping around here. I was going to say Sejuani, I'd be very surprised to see. It will be Renekton and the Mundo in there for Naruterador. That's two very strong picks right now in 3-14.
And it's because Naruterador is comfortable playing Mundo jungle in a way that most of the teams don't seem to be. It means they can lock down those two massively powerful picks that are also very safe picks at the moment.
Yeah.
That is a really, really good play there. TCM have got an advantage in that respect, but it does give KMT an opportunity now to try and counterpick that top lane. Might see something like a Vlad here, if they're comfortable in that matchup. I'm not entirely sure, though.
Well, his champion pool is pretty deep. The likes of Rumble is something that we go back to a lot from him. I mean, he played it all the way back at Intellectually Masters Sao Paulo. That was in January of this year. He was already wrecking faces with Rumble. Obviously, things have changed a lot since then in terms of the meta and, well, the patch as well. Obviously, the game pretty much completely different at this stage. Olaf, though, has been a very, very standard pick throughout this tournament. Jankos already played him. We're also going to see Vander on Fiddlesticks.
Yeah, got that potential now to invade against Mundo, who tends to drop low on his early clears and possibly get the kill there. Now, Fiddlesticks, Caitlyn, combination we keep seeing. What is going to be the answer to that? Because neither of the kind of standard choices now are really available. Actually, Varus would make a lot of sense. Motroco does like Varus.
Yeah, I was going to say Jinx Annie possibly, but I suppose Varus Annie as well is another one. I mean, Annie just generally right now, we saw it in that last game, what you can do with stun after stun after stun, and you know the big fat AoE stun as well later on. But we see a switch off to Jinx, wow, not even, Ziggs for Belgianbeast, and possibly the first Varus that we've seen of this tournament.
Believe that would be the first, but at the moment they're not locking it in. Interesting that they're choosing to save that pick, and it means that they are prioritizing both of those champions. Understandable though, because most likely they will now lock in Varus, but they're thinking, okay, we can just secure ourselves Ziggs and Annie right now. Two huge priority picks. That being said, the difference between Annie and Varus, if you secure one of those, because they already know what they're up against, it's very unlikely Annie would be stolen away from them, is that they still have that flexibility if they do want to swap out Varus.
Well, let's see then what KMT round off their lineup with. We've already got Olaf in there, who we're expecting to go in the jungle. Now Rengar, who has been banned a few times, mostly aimed directly at Mimer, actually, in the top lane for Super Hot Crew. But it looks like that could come in for this one with a Nidalee as well for KMT.
Now, I have one major question here. Are they prepared for a 2-on-1 situation if they choose to lock in Rengar? Renekton, very, very solid 1v2. Rengar, not so much. He farms less easily. He does have better sustain if he can get close to the minions. So if he's in a 2-on-2, basically using his jungler, he's pretty solid. But it's a very dangerous pick and it can go quite badly wrong, whereas Renekton isn't really going to go wrong.
No, I don't think so either, especially Jwaow has been pretty solid throughout our last 3 days of play. But it's all about the AD carry now for TCM. Are they going to go in there with this Varus for the first pick of the tournament? It would be for Varus, of course.
Would suit their play style here, and it would also suit their team composition's needs. What they are running at the moment does not have a lot of hard crowd control. They've got Annie obviously locked in for AoE stuns. That's nice to have, but other than that, they only really had the spammable stuff from Mundo, and they had the stun from Renekton, and they had the unreliable stuff from Ziggs. With that Chain of Corruption, they now have an extra easily layered hard CC that can work for them.
Well, guys, we are going to be moving into our final game of the tournament and finding out who is the third team to join the Copenhagen Wolves. And also, these names are just going through me like straight out of the brain. Super Hot Crew, of course, who lost out to the Copenhagen Wolves in that last game. Of course, waiting for them. Ninjas in Pajamas, SK Gaming, and Meet Your Makers. We're going to be finding out here after our 3-minute delay period. So guys, welcome back. We're about to jump into game KMT versus TCM for the final spot in the 2014 Spring Promotion Tournament. As we said, SK Gaming, Ninjas in Pajamas, Meet Your Makers. They're going to have choices to make to which team they're actually going to go for. Of course, NIP get first choice. Something tells me after this weekend that people are going to be avoiding Copenhagen Wolves like the plague.
Yeah, I maybe something will change. I mean, maybe half of Copenhagen Wolves' roster will die between now and then.
Wow.
Very unlikely to happen unless someone from MYM were to hire. But regardless, it's just a very, very dangerous thing. Actually, Jwaow finding Xaxus.
Yeah, and it's actually just jumping at him there. The beauty of the Rengar. Or sometimes not when you forget that he actually jumps from the bush. May or maybe not have done that a couple of times.
Jwaow right now is regretting, though. He just took the defensive mastery that gives you a barrier that refreshes every time you go back. He's lost it already. Sucks. Anyway, in this... as I was saying, yeah, Copenhagen Wolves are really honestly going to end up against MYM short of major cataclysmic changes in the scene in that very short time period between now and then. At the moment, though, between Super Hot Crew and TCM/KMT, I honestly don't know who it would come down to, because I feel like Super Hot Crew, I don't want to say anything like about how they're playing, but they are a really, really good team, but I feel like TCM and KMT could have won any of the games that put them in the position of being below Super Hot Crew.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, and I think Super Hot Crew as well might be more of an unknown factor as well. The fact is that they've got Impaler there in the jungle, who's not even their player technically. He's obviously in Dignitas UK, so we'll have to see how that one all works out going forward and where those picks come in. But for now, we got a little pause.
Coming in, pause. Yes, that's exactly the best way to answer a Sandstorm song in the break. I'm trying to build hype from that, were we, Joe, now? Terrible person you are.
Well, the fact is, this is our final game here, so now it's been a long week. Managing to get through it. It's actually Naruterador that's apparently disconnected here, so hopefully he can get himself back in. Hopefully Spanish internet not playing tricks on him tonight.
Yeah, Naru got DC, it is being said in chat. KMT are just questioning what's exactly going on. Jwaow, however, felt rather than the priority being to let them know that Naruterador had disconnected, he had to smile in chat 3 times with quite a lot of bracket closes used.
That's fine. Why not?
Jovial fellow.
Actually, Naruterador starting off on the blue buff. I say starting off, already done the blue buff. Did actually use his smite to take that one down, as did Jankos on the red as well. So they're going for, the first side, quick clear, and then move over and get it done.
Yeah, indeed. And game unpausing right now. I feel like there was actually, by the way, an attempt by Nidalee to steal away the blue buff from Naruterador. Did actually, I think, get one of the mini lizards. So that actually does hurt his clear in terms of experience.
Yeah, he's still at level 1 from that one. And you can see him getting pretty low from this one. Once this big wolf goes down, he will hit level 2. There we go. So the lanes here. Jwaow versus Xaxus, Renekton versus Rengar in the top lane. What are we thinking about this 1v1?
Straight up in a one-on-one, Early on, Rengar has probably a slight edge, assuming he can get the brush control. However, as time goes on and both of them end up building a Sunfire Cape and a Spirit Visage, it takes quite a lot of work for Rengar to come out on top, and it's very easy for Renekton to just come out.
And mid lane then, Belgianbeast against Overpow, Nidalee versus Ziggs, a matchup that we've been seeing, we've seen a couple of times in this one. Ziggs generally has been played quite a lot for us. As I was hearing the low health ping, that was actually Naruterador in the top of the jungle.
Yeah, that is Mundo jungle all over, though. He just relies on getting very, very low because it gives him a massive AD steroid from his E. He also obviously just uses his own health for his abilities, so it kind of all fits together as a complicated kit there. But at the moment, feels to me like Ziggs, unlike last game, is probably going to have a big advantage in terms of just pushing Nidalee to her tower and denying her that CS.
Well, that's exactly what he's trying to do, but Overpow, credit where credit's due, he is doing a good job of keeping things up on that front, actually ending that wave as things reset back to the middle, just 2 CS behind. Bottom lane, Motroco bringing out Varus for the first time that we've seen this weekend, along with Annie against Celaver's Caitlyn and Vander's Fiddlesticks.
Yeah, and this actually is an interesting point because it showcases that sometimes you don't need to pick an AD carry sheerly for damage output. They recognize they have enough threats on their team already. Ziggs is a very damage-focused character. Motroco on Varus is going to be providing quite a lot of CC for his team and also a lot of poke. Between them, they have Ziggs and they have Varus, which should be enough to match up to Nidalee.
That lane just resets in itself. Everyone at level 3 currently, both starting Ancient Coin as well, both AD carries starting with that Doran's Blade as well. So not really much difference between them. Just having a look here towards mid because both Naruterador and Jankos are hanging around there, but at this stage, Overpow right underneath his turret, not much to work with for Naruterador.
No, but he was feeling a little bit scared about the possibility of a gank on Belgianbeast. If he had been there to counter gank, he can pretty much ensure that Belgianbeast will get out safely. Does not have a great deal of kill potential at this level. Could potentially get that from Olaf, but obviously if Mundo is there, then he's not going to commit to it.
We see Xaxus just racking up his points so that he can get those heals off, basically keep himself healthy in that lane. Between the AD carries, Celaver got a slight advantage at this point of it. Only a 6 CS lead though, definitely not a massive amount.
Yeah. Generally, at the moment, it feels like TCM are getting the tiniest of tiny edges in this laning phase. Motroco is obviously falling a little bit behind, but Belgianbeast in the mid lane doing a decent job of shoving, and Renekton in the top lane opening up a significant gap between the two of them.
Yeah, 44 to 32 CS in favour of Jwaow's Renekton. It looks like KMT may be headed home for the first time in this game, or maybe not. Vander just deciding against that one. They want to make sure that they've got at least one more wave to push back onto the tower before they do go.
Now, indeed, it seems like we have a pause timer. Yay! Apparently, Naruterador has DC'd again. Well, he only said DC again. It might have been someone else, and he's using a very strange usage of the English language. But I think that's Naruterador.
Yeah, his internet seems to be playing tricks on him tonight, which is not the ideal time for that to be happening to you, that's for sure. Final game, and well, you can almost forget what's happened over the course of these last 3 days because it all comes down to one game.
Yeah, it's a really interesting climax to what we've been seeing this whole time. I've got to say, it feels to me, having been quite involved in this scene, as it were, for a long time, both of these are teams that really deserve to get that shot at the LCS. I'm not going to say they deserve to push out a team that's already there, but they deserve their shot. Both of these teams have been there for so long, put into so much work, and have been doing so well that it's almost a shame that either of these teams has no hope in that respect.
Yeah, that one of them, of course, won't even get the chance to play one of our current LCS teams for that spot in the spring split of next year. And really excited to get that one underway. Obviously, the actual promotion games will be happening next week. I believe there are still tickets available, both here in Europe and in North America. You can find all the details for those over at lolesports.com if you're interested in coming along. always a fun timeout, that's for sure.
Speaking of timeouts, it's actually, we have Jwaow there saying ready, so it looks like we're going to be starting up again with Naruterador back in the game. Moving on now to clear his golems, and fairly passive game at the start of this game, neither side taking too many risks.
Yeah, as you'd expect, to be honest. No risky plays means safer overall, and you don't want to throw something away from one bad judgment call, that's for sure. I see Motroco doing well there underneath his own tower, making sure that he doesn't miss out on any CS. And whilst Vander did go back, Celaver opted to stay in lane here.
Yeah, okay, so Celaver staying in lane is an interesting choice, and it now means he has the potential to get forced back against his tower, which is obviously not what you want. But with that support picking up a couple of wards, he's now safe to push in, and his opponents have not gone back either. So there's not a major item discrepancy, but the wards themselves are going to be highly significant in making a difference between them now, assuming that is the KMT's bot lane can get this pushing in their direction as they had it before.
Yeah, I think TCM wanted to go back. That's why we saw piercing arrow thrown through there, and they want to get home and spend what they've earned up, and we can see that Motroco is in fact doing that. Meanwhile, blue buff going to be transferred over. Naruterador getting dangerously low there. Getting really dangerously low, just one bar of health remaining, which is, you know, sometimes a bit deceptive because it's still almost 200 health for Naruterador, but he'll give that over to his mid laner. Zig's going to be happy with the blue buff. And they will carry on their merry way. Jwaow, though, he's doing a fantastic job, as we pointed out earlier on, keeping up around a 20 CS lead. Got himself that chain vest in there. Actually, Xaxus going for the Giant's belt, first of all. Both of them ultimately headed up towards that Sunfire Cape.
Yeah, pretty much at the moment, top lane is Player Bruiser and then build Sunfire Cape / Spirit Visage, then the other one of those two items on them. It's possibly something that actually, honestly, if it continued like this for the whole season, would get pretty dull. But as time goes by and people work out other alternatives, I expect we will actually see a little bit more diversity, even if no actual balance changes were made to those two items.
Well, we have seen definitely a swing of items over the course of, you know, the last season. If you think back to when the Season 3 changes first came in, we had the Black Cleaver stacking, Warmogs, you know, that always happens as things go on. It's Motroco going low in the bottom lane, actually. And the bomb is available here for Ziggs if he needs to push this lane back. But honestly, Vander and Celaver very, very healthy still after that all went down.
Yeah, Black Cleaver stacking was so silly. It was a really weird thing, actually, that, because it seemed like it was an item they had designed to not stack, and then they just forgot to code it in that it wouldn't stack, and then it got through and everyone started stacking them. As it happens, though, now, Jankos is hanging around in this bottom lane. Motroco and BarneyD have a lot of CC between them, though, and now they have ordered it out, so he's just gonna give up and go home.
And that one final auto attack not quite able to come out from it. And Mundo here is going to be coming in towards this top lane. So they're going to have a go at Xaxus. Naruterador just waiting there until the minions had gone away. And here we go. Naruterador starts running. Xaxus goes for the early flash. Is he going to be able to escape it, though? He has to use his ultimate to actually get out of there.
Yeah, and now they actually have a good opportunity to push down on this tower. They can guess that Jankos was at bot lane, and in fact, Jankos making a very good play. Seeing the situation at top, seeing that TCM will be able to do tons and tons of damage to that tower, but that they have committed so hard up there means they can now get that dragon, means they can now benefit. Ziggs did, I believe, just ult them, but that's not going to change anything.
No, and just wanting to get out there in case there was an opportunity maybe for that dragon to fall to his ultimate. In the end, it just aided KMT's pickup of the dragon. They now sit in the lead, 14.2 to 13.7 thousand gold. And they have a very even scoreline in the mid lane and in the bottom lane between the AD carries, of course. It's this top lane where the difference really stands, with Jwaow 91 to 64 CS in the lead.
And opting specifically not to take the tower immediately. He wants to deny as much farm as possible to that Rengar and deny him the ability to get into that snowballing state that he would like to. I'm actually curious if these minions are going to aggro on the tower or not.
Oh, we actually saw Tibbers coming out there for BarneyD. They went in for Celaver. Wasn't enough damage to finish him off, though. They did use Chain of Corruption as well. What? no real result, and still no first blood in this game. 11 minutes in, quite a stark contrast to some of the games that we've had today that have had upwards of 50 kills in them.
Yeah, obviously not 50 kills by 11 minutes. That would be impossible. But yeah, really, really a parallel, because when you're not going, when you've got so much on the line, it just makes your mind less willing to take those big play risks. Whereas in situations where there is a lot less riding on it, it's just an easy thing to do.
Well, there is Olaf headed up and spotted out by a ward from Ziggs there. Using that warding totem to make sure he keeps vision up. Actually, Naruterador down at the bottom, and that's going to bring Jankos here as well. He knows that he might have to offer some backup for the rest of his team, but as it is, again, fitting this no-risk policy that both teams seem to have in this one, TCM backed off from it.
Yeah, I actually think their Overpow was actually looking to angle a spear onto Belgianbeast, because he disappeared from vision, essentially, for Belgianbeast, and was looking to try and land the spear when Belgianbeast tried to follow, and then jump on him in Kuka form to finish him off, because he would have been a long way out if that happened. As it happened, though, Belgianbeast did not take the bait, and nothing happened but Crowstorm in bot.
Crowstorm in the bottom lane. Is he going to be able to lock him up? The field went down on towards Naruterador. Jankos getting in there. This is first blood. Jankos gets that one. It could be a double for him. It will be a double. Can he get all three? 8 in the hole. Triple kill for Olaf.
Suddenly this game blew wide open. That now gives KMT a big chance to go for this bottom tower. Dragon, not up, not available, not a problem for them though. They just got a super big windfall on Olaf. That makes him incredibly dangerous now. For a very long time to come, Olaf is one of the hardest scaling bruisers in this game.
Yeah, that is just disastrous for TCM. And if we think back to, you know, the early stage of the year, there's been a lot of TCM versus Copenhagen Wolves finals. A hell of a lot of those kind of things. And these were the two teams that I think everyone was expecting to be the safe bets almost to come into promotion.
Yeah, H2K, which has become KMT, for a long time, like not as long as TCM and Copenhagen Wolves, have pretty much been the other team. Pretty much since the era of DreamHack Bucharest. Jwaow actually taking that top tower there, tanking it out. I thought Xaxus might go for him, but he didn't opt to try and all in there.
Well, TCM have a bit of catching up to do now then. They are 2,000 gold behind. Overpow here, having that wave forced upon him, and they want to steal away this blue buff. TCM decide that Nidalee can't have that any longer. We're going to have it away, and it does go over to Belgianbeast. Actually, Xaxus using his ultimate here, and is going to be chasing down Naruterador. They do decide to go right on top of him. He pops his ultimate instantly. Celaver coming in as well. Have they got the damage to finish this one off? Jwaow actually trying to bully them back, but he might pay the ultimate price as well as a spear comes in. Good group slow there from Belgianbeast, though, will stop them chasing any further, and a nice steal of the blue.
Zoning potential used there by Belgianbeast, meaning they can disengage cleanly. Motroco, in the meantime, farming up bot lane, has now built himself about 25 CS between him and his opponent, and is going to get this tower gold all to himself. A big, big bonus there for Motroco.
Yeah, that is going down, no question of that one. Vander is starting to work his way in there, but Motroco going to pick up a nice bonus and sat on 1,000 gold here at this point, even landing a piercing arrow on towards Vander as he comes around from the Tribush area. Both AD carries now have that Bloodthirster done. Motroco a little bit behind in terms of no boots. In fact, Berserker Greaves already been completed by Caitlyn.
Yeah, he's sitting on a good 1,000 gold though, so that will actually mean he's got that if he wants it. You might actually see him just shoot for a pickaxe straight up. Would make his Qs right now brutal. Would also make him pretty slow to move around the map. He might wait for the pickaxe and boots one.
Oh, Jankos here taking a little bit of poke from Belgianbeast, and that slow coming in with the satchel charge and the bombs rolling in as well. Just a annoyance. Both mid laners do have that Athene's Unholy Grail now finished in as well, so Belgianbeast able to spam, especially since they stole that blue buff away from Nidalee. That is a big, big bonus for the TCM side. Meanwhile, they're going to start to push down on towards the tower. Jankos, now he got those 3 kills, that triple kill earlier on in the bottom lane, but he's not in a position where he's invulnerable, and he's worth taking down now for the bonus alone.
Yeah, indeed. He's got a lot of health to get through though, and remember, as long as he hasn't activated it, his ult gives him quite a decent chunk of armor and magic resist for free. Top lane is still standard bruisers, not hurting each other.
Yeah. Always look up there when you see their icons overlapping on the minimap, but the chances of anything bigger kicking off are pretty slim, although, no.
Jwaow is getting a tiny bit of an advantage though, and he does have the better wave clear now. Will be able to move down towards this dragon to try and assist his team if they choose to go for it. But if too much poke comes down for TCM, they will be forced to back off.
I tried the ace in the whole spear combo there. They had full vision of BarneyD. There's a scan coming out from Jankos as well. Able to get rid of that ward that was just put over the wall, and in perfect timing because the dragon is now up and available. 3 men on top of it from KMT. We see Overpow just trying to zone them out here. Does land the spear on towards BarneyD. Are they going to go for the fight? KMT 3-0 up in kills. The big Olaf at the front got all 3 of them earlier on. But where the dragon started, this is a very, very important stage of the game. A good result here for KMT could put them miles ahead in this game as the dragon goes down to half HP. Naruterador right at the front. Annie has the stun built up, has Tibbers available. Is he going to be able to get it down? Chain of Corruption lands, and there is Flash Tibbers on towards Celaver, but they don't really have the push up from it as Jankos gets himself another kill. Meanwhile, at the backside, Overpow has taken down Belgianbeast, and KMT are doing really, really well in this one. Overpow gonna go in there. There's the jump on from Xaxus as well. They go for Motroco, who's used his cleanse, but Overpow spears him down. That is a 3 for nothing.
And as you say, a bad result there for TCM puts them miles behind. KMT now have the position to siege this mid tower down, as well as all the gold they just got. Starting to spread out their gold as well. Nidalee picking up 2 kills there. Really, really dangerous stuff now for TCM.
The kills plus the dragon, it couldn't have gone really any worse for TCM other than if they got aced pretty much. That is not what they were looking for here, but KMT showing their composure, playing things exactly how they wanted it. That looked all to plan for them. And that leaves, as you said, a 2-0-0 in Italy, a 4-0-1 Olaf. 5 assists for the AD carry and the support, and that's allowed Fiddlesticks to really get rolling. Mikhail's Crucible is already done for him.
There is a chase going on.
Yeah, I see Jankos in trouble possibly from this one, but these spears from Overpow keeping away. There's the ulti coming out though from Naruterador. Can they keep going? Can they chase this one through? Jankos does get hit with the briefcase, and Naruterador up to half HP. There's no tower behind them. Jankos is actually going to be shut down. That one goes over to Naruterador on Mundo.
That is a nice little windfall now. TCM have the opportunity to push in the mid lane if they want it, but certainly even if they don't, they have a good chance now to just kind of take a step back, get their breath back. That fighter dragon put them off balance, but overstaying there by KMT has cost them a little bit of ground.
Overstaying, giving up that bonus. We'll see how that plays into the hands of TCM. Not a team that you want to give a chance to come back into a game. Just watching Vander taking about 4 hours to clear out columns at this point. But he's done it. That's the important thing for him, with that life drain constantly coming through. And the Wraiths are up there as well, which he'll have to share with Celaver this time around, though.
So Joe, earlier you mentioned the ace in the hole spear combo. Is that the spear in the hole?
Yes.
I may have killed myself there. Anyway, it does seem at the moment that Jankos is in the mid lane, and I to be honest, it's a long day. I have no idea what he's doing there. He's just kind of standing around.
Yeah, chilling out, trying to get the vision, and Overpow just throwing in those axes for him as well. No, Overpow throwing in the spears. Jankos has got the axes, of course.
Axes, spears, and the kitchen sink. It seems like in this situation, TCM are starting to fall behind in the poke race, which is quite an important one in this game. Obviously, Ziggs and Varus aren't going to outscale Nidalee spears just in sheer single target burst potential, but Nidalee is really the only poke for KMT. They may have some split pushing potential from Rengar and Olaf, but if Nidalee falls behind the poke of TCM's lineup, that will start to be a real problem for them.
Well, you got Caitlyn in there as well, who can throw down those ace in the holes, and obviously Piltover Peacemakers a lot more regularly, plus the axes coming out of Olaf. We'll see how really effective that is across the board, though, because like we saw earlier on, that Ziggs can clear out the waves very, very quickly as well.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the main reasons to pick Ziggs nowadays. Yes, strong damage, all the rest of it. Defensively, though, he is one of the best champions in the game. He kind of started to come into the meta, actually, in the US Challenger Series. I know I harp on about it, but I do cast it fairly regularly. In the hands, as I recall, of a team that kind of formed and disbanded within about a week, Avalanche Prime, but actually was good enough to take games off of the really, really advanced teams in that in this scene, as it were.
You see here that KMT just pushing up that mid lane. Celaver not really too scared about taking the damage that's thrown his way, because that Bloodthirst, a static shift combo, means that he's back up to full HP without really having any kind of problems whatsoever.
Yeah, and you're starting to see TCM really suffer for this poke. Naruterador is doing a good job of tanking a lot of important stuff. But at this rate, if they don't engage, it's a bad situation.
Oh, that timing coming out there from Celaver, actually using the 90 caliber net just as the ultimate out of Varus came his way, and then cleansed it off actually when it landed, because he saw BarneyD coming in close with Tibbers available, and that stun built up. Could have been the death of him, but good reactions on that front. Naruterador just getting feared there over the top of the wall. BarneyD takes a spear. Oh, Piltover lands as well, but it wasn't enough to actually finish him off. In the end, Rengar's actually taken the top outer turret, and that's because there's no one up there to stop him.
Yeah, Jwaow had to recall. He has to join up with the team right now, or they are just going to keep getting pushed back and keep getting poked. There's only so much Ziggs can do to clear it out, but Rengar is now going to continue to push this top lane, and he is as strong as Jwaow is. He can just push him back.
Well, we're seeing more spears flashing through. BarneyD needs to be really careful. Flash Tibbers, though, that's his careful. Overpow does spear him down, though. Jankos and Naruterador running off against each other on the top side. And actually, Rengar is there as well. And they're going to try and go for Xaxus, but he will ulti away. All stealthed up. And again, Overpow spears really landing there. And losing BarneyD, who, didn't have that much of an effect with his ultimate, sadly enough, for TCM.
Indeed. Now, okay, so Celaver there actually took quite a lot of damage, and potentially they could have tried to follow up on him. Overpow is very low on mana at the moment, but at the moment it looks like KMT have no intention of stopping the push. They are going to rotate now to Dragon, and they have got Olaf in the area, who's also forced that bottom wave up to the enemy tower.
Now, this is that good old face bashing contest in the top lane. Xaxus and Jwaow going head to head on that one, and Jwaow was actually doing a good amount of damage to him here, but it was all about forcing him out of the lane, which he won't mind with too much, because that dragon has now been taken down. KMT picking up another big advantage, 5,400 gold that they hold right now in the lead, and this bottom wave is actually fairly far pushed up.
Yeah, I actually really like Jwow's build, though, this game. Going for that Brutalizer, which isn't something you tend to see. It tends to be Sunfire Cape, Spirit Visage, Randuin's, pure tank Renekton. But by going for that Brutalizer, he's making it a little bit harder for Xaxus to just sustain through everything. Because if you build pure tank against Rengar, he's able to just ignore you for long enough to build up his ferocity and heal himself back up again, which makes him very difficult to push out. Lower cooldowns means a little bit more damage in a sustained fashion from Renekton, and that just makes his life a little bit harder for Xaxus.
Satchel charge just to check blue buff there for Belgianbeast. Sadly for them, kind of lost the control over their jungle with that middle inner turret being sieged up so heavily in these last few minutes. BarneyD now does have Tibbers back and already has that stun built up. We're going to have to wait a little while for his flash to become available, though, to really get things started off. And you see the Overpow there, multitasking, finishing off the blue camp as he throws the spear over into the brand new camp there off at the side. Takes both of them. Nice little bit of farm for him. But turret going down in the mid lane. Finally, they even things up. All outer turrets in the game now down.
And the pace of the game has slowed down now. KMT aren't really building on the advantage they were able to get earlier, but they may just be waiting for themselves to get into the position they really, really wanted. The one they got earlier on, where they had several men in the mid lane forcing down their opponents and just poking them out. TCM do have their engagement ultimates available again, and they will have flash on Annie up soon, but if they miss those again, it could be really bad.
Yeah, Naruterador, obviously the man that's going to be tasked with catching spears if he can't dodge them, obviously, because he is the big tanky man at the front. Warmogs is done for him now. But eventually, they're going to start to hurt him as well. Obviously, he can regen it up once he presses R to get things going. But you see half of his health gone, and that is a bad sign when it's your big tanky man. BarneyD there almost being caught out. He was just trying to get a ward over the side of Celaver having to go there. His Belgianbeast down to half HP as well.
Yeah, they have actually used that.
Oh! Wow, that was awesome. Celaver throwing the ace in the hole. That was the combo I was talking about earlier. Caught the spear from the side as well. And KMT say, you know what? That's the signal to go in now. We've taken down Mundo. We can siege up because they just can't stick around with spears coming at us.
It was a perfect storm of unfortunate circumstances for Naruterador. He just used his ultimate to reduce his health. If that was a genuinely planned maneuver there by KMT, they read Naruterador's mindset perfectly because they knew he would go straight to catch that ace in the hole automatically, and it was really, really well done.
This is what I really like about this combo as well. They can hold with Caitlyn and Nidalee at the front side, or at the back side as it technically is, I suppose, from their side off Baron, just to zone everyone out. But at the same time, they can get over the wall, and there is the Baron pickup for KMT. Can they get away though? Celaver losing a lot of health. The spear comes in from the side. There's 2 kills for Olaf, and they're not finished just yet. Motroco flashes and cleanses, but I'm not sure that's going to be enough for him to get away. Overpow dives in there. He gets a double kill. Will use his barrier to try and force himself away and stay alive from it, but he continues to lob those spears straight over. Naruterador has his ultimate running. Overpow coming in. They're trying to stay under the safety of this turret as they start to recall. Jwaow's actually in the brush recalling from this one. Will they be able to stop him getting home? No. So Naruterador is the last man left. Well, that turret is not healthy, and actually KMT have just gone straight for the mid.
Yeah, they're going to get the mid and they're going to get the top right now, and TCM can choose to stop neither of them. Right now, they may be able to hold on to the tower, but the regen is so slow, it's almost permanent damage.
Yeah, Jankos actually was the one stunned up, but he doesn't really care at this point. And Overpow going in with the rest of the team now. It was Jankos that was tanking it up for a while. They weren't quite able to finish that one off, but they get that top inhibitor turret. And that is definitely a big bonus for them. Celaver going at Motroco. He needs to escape from this one. Those briefcases going to keep him perma-slowed. There is the piercing arrow coming through as well. They get that middle in hit turret. And he just waiting over the wall. Ace in the hole, caught by Naruterador. Can they keep going? Spear lands. Doesn't get the kill though, but it will force him back to heal in the fountain. And that may open up this inhibitor for KMT.
TCM have absolutely lost control of this game. They are losing objective after objective, double inhibs, and they've got no Baron buff.
Oh, Belgianbeast goes down, and the axe and the Piltover Peacemaker combining to finish off that kill. And that is 2 inhibs down here by KMT. Baron buff still running. Bottom lane is actually pushed out, but to be honest, they could probably just get in there and tank that one up.
TCM are absolutely reeling at the moment. They have fallen so far behind in such a short time. That gold difference is now enormous. I mean, it's getting to the degree that last game we were seeing, and that was essentially, past a certain point, a joke game.
So let's have a look down some of the big items to come in from this one. There's quite a few of them, so bear with us. Almost 3k gold on everyone. Locket of the Iron Solari for Olaf. Guardian Angel for Caitlyn. Talisman is now finished up here for Fiddlesticks. Rengar picks up a Last Whisper. Sheesh, that's a big jump.
Yeah, they all just suddenly took a big power spike, and they were already forcing TCM back on their heels. They still have a decent chunk of Baron buff. There's only 1 inhibitor up, although there are 2 towers defending it, but I do not see TCM being able to even defend against a 5-on-5 dive at the inner turret. And once they're at the inhib, what can they do apart from just get poked down? If they engage, unless they get a brilliant engage, it's not going to go their way.
Yeah, and they've already shown that they're able to get out of things. Overpow, once his first couple of spears have gone in, he's not had any problem to just dive in there in Cougar form and let him rip through on the damage on that front. And he's going to continue to try and zone them out here with big spears coming over the wall, trying basically to hit on towards Belgianbeast. The inner tower goes down. They only have this one last inhibitor turret remaining.
It's not going to last long, though, if they allow Celaver to hit it, but they're going for the engage.
They are going for the engage. Jankos, though, is going to be able to get away. Tibbers went down, but they've not really pushed in there early enough, I feel, from this one. We see that Jankos, he's at the back of them, and he's doing ridiculous amounts of damage. Ace in the hole goes through. Motroco super low. Here comes Rengar from the backside. He gets himself a double. Jwaow now, the last man standing here for TCM, but it's surely not going to be enough. KMT are going for the win. They're going to pop the talisman. Jwaow gets feared. Surely finished off. No, gets back to the fountain where he's going to have to heal. Both Nexus turrets have gone down. KMT are going to focus on the last kill, pick up the Nexus, and go through to Cologne and challenge for a place in the LCS.